Welcome everybody to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks. Thank you for listening to the post-game show of the March Madness NCAA tournament. Yeah, leave that playing in the background. Just kind of like turn it up just a little bit, like as this intro is here. I'm here with just a few of my professional sports panel, Zack, Hahn, and Chad Rainwater. It's just the three musketeers, and actually, this is the original three. I did the first sports podcast with you two gentlemen.
Yeah, just a trip down memory lane today, Adam. You got One Shining Moment playing. It's the original threesome. It's great to be here.
Exactly. What's up, Chad? What's going
on?
on?
It's good. It's good, you know. Despite what happened last night, I'm doing good.
So you were a little disappointed with the victory of North Carolina winning the national championship?
Yeah, of course, definitely. I'm not a big fan of North Carolina, obviously. And like I said last week, I was really rooting for Gonzaga. Had my Gonzaga t-shirt on. I was rooting for the Bulldogs, but came up a little short, man. It's not a fun day when the North Carolina Tar Heels win another championship.
Well, it's their sixth championship. And I said that I was a little worried if North Carolina won, they're creeping up on Kentucky's championships. Kentucky's only got 8.
Yeah, they're getting there, but I'm not that disappointed. We still got two national championships. Is a lot of that's a big hurdle to overcome. And hey, you know what? You can say that if Kentucky had beat North Carolina, who knows?
You got to hand it though really quick to Roy Williams. Is he now one of the greats? Is he now one of the top 5 greatest college basketball coaches of all time?
Probably. I mean, he may have been on there before this anyway, because they were runner-up last year. But yeah, he's one of the greats for sure. How many national championships does that make for him personally?
It's 3, and they say 3 is the magic number for just in sports in general. I think when you get to 3, people leave you alone because 1 championship, it could be a fluke. 2 championships, you could be lucky. 3 championships, that shuts people up. I mean, it took LeBron James 3 championships for him to be left alone. Roy Williams he's now in the conversation of being one of the greats. So, got to hand it to old Roy. Like I said, he's just the guy. Did you watch the celebration in the locker room?
No.
No, I didn't catch that. I was tired from all the fouls. It was time to go to bed. It was a late game, whole lot of fouls and reviews dragging it out. I couldn't stand to watch Roy and the Heels just party it up.
You didn't like the referees?
No.
Who did?
Yeah, you didn't like the referees. I thought they called the game right down the line, right down the middle.
You think so?
Fair and square.
Have you seen the pictures that come out on social media?
Being very sarcastic.
Saw the picture I sent you. Yeah?
Very sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
Very sarcastic. Like that was probably the worst set of referees we've had in March Madness.
I mean, that was an awful game to watch. If it wasn't for a close score, like that was the only thing keeping me in the game. That game was so slow paced, and they couldn't get going. Like it was a foul every 10 seconds, and then for a while, when they weren't calling fouls, they were all missing shots. Like I don't even think I saw a team make back-to-back shots in the second half. With that and all the fouls going on, it was ridiculous, man. It was in my opinion, it was a bad game.
Yeah, I read an article today. I think they said that average amount of time that the ball was actually in play was like 44 seconds.
And for a game like March Madness, the championship game, why have referees that don't know how to call a game correctly? These are supposed to be the elite referees, right?
And this has been a problem the whole season, the referees. I mean, like you don't see in the NBA, you don't see the officiating dictate the end of a game. But here recently, especially in the tournament, I feel like they have definitely dictated the outcome.
They do. They really do. That's a good point because you got to think every game in March Madness almost ends up right down to the last second, and that's when the referees really have control of like your destiny of the team. They call the fouls. They're calling the shots.
Yeah.
And what they say goes, even if it was the wrong call, because there was several wrong calls. I mean, that picture you sent me, that guy's hand was out of bounds. Who was that out of bounds?
Kennedy Meeks.
Kennedy Meeks, yeah.
And they called a jump ball.
Called a jump ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you call that. And they were right there, too. And right there on him, his hand was 3 or 4 inches out of bounds. I don't know if you saw that, Zack, or not. But they called a jump ball. And, of course, North Carolina had the ball. They got the ball back. And it was a crucial situation because at that point in the game, it was still a close game. I can't remember the exact score, how much time was left. But it was towards the end of the second half. And that was a crucial turning point in the game, in my opinion.
It makes you think that sometimes referees are possibly paid to fix these games.
I mean, and it's sad because I agree. I believe that it has to do with money. A lot of money is involved.
Yeah, because sports betting is so big, and especially out in Vegas, it's so easy to get hooked into that. And if there is a referee out there who has potential to get hooked in with the gambling dark side in Vegas, and they could fix these games to win them some money, even though that's extremely illegal, I'm sure it happens.
I'm sure it's happened in college basketball and probably recently, but I don't know that it would happen on the national championship game. And I think it would be a kind of a unique situation if it did. I don't think that is what it was. I think the refs just wanted to make their impact on the game. I think that it's, for whatever reason, these officials that they get just can't go out there and let the players play. Yeah. They want to call these little touch fouls, and really it's terrible, because even if it's not fixed, you're still having the men in black and white striped shirts dictating the game instead of the skills of the players and the strategies and the reasons people watch the game.
While we're on the topic of referees and officiating, did y'all see what John
Higgins?
John Higgins. I was calling him John Huggins before you got here. Did you see what he said? He was wondering why Kentucky started hating on him so bad, because he felt like he did a great job in the Elite Eight game. Felt like he did a good job. Like, seriously.
I haven't spoken on the Kentucky incident at all on this show yet.
We haven't, no.
So let's just talk about that really quick. The controversy that happened with Kentucky, basically, Kentucky fans found John Higgins' business Facebook page and started harassing him, and he had to get the FBI involved, etc. Totally embarrassing, totally inappropriate, and I think that we all should be a voice as good UK fans to say, hey, that is ignorant, and stop it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't condone that.
Right, I mean.
Yeah, there's maybe 1% of me who thought that was before the death threats, that it was funny for them to post reviews on his Facebook for his business Facebook. He's a roofer,
right? And
they were leaving bad reviews based on his officiating. It had nothing to do with his roofing, but they were like, yeah, John pooped on my roof, and saying stuff like that, and that was okay. But then
funny stuff.
But it got a little out of control when they started giving him death threats. I mean, I know BBN's pretty passionate, but that's taken a little too far, in my opinion. I think so.
Do you wonder if some of that stuff, though, was legitimately even Kentucky fans? I mean, is it a possibility that other fan bases, once that became a story, I'm not saying that it wasn't UK fans that found his business page, or that UK fans weren't involved, but once that other fan bases realized there's a chance to make or to give BBN a black eye, that they didn't jump on there and escalate it.
You think that some teams should share the responsibility, some fan bases should share the responsibility that Kentucky fans are getting accused of?
Not necessarily. I'm just wondering if all the stuff that came out towards Higgins was legitimately from UK fans.
Right. I mean, that could happen. I mean,
it's easy to do something like that.
But it's so believable. I don't want to sound like a parent who acts like my child never does anything wrong. It's like, it sounds so like UK fans. It sounds like the Big Blue Nation, and I say that with love, because I'm a UK fan. We are passionate, but this is not how to handle things. I mean, because this is the man's business. It's his job. It's his livelihood. It's his business. I respect the fact that he's a working man. I mean, I really did respect that about him, that he was common. Even though he got paid $3,000 a game, he's in the spotlight in March, but he still is just a working class American. You got to appreciate that. And the fact that we did this, it was very classless.
Yeah, when was that? I guess Monday that came out. After the game Monday, it came out there, or maybe it was Tuesday or Wednesday that his information got leaked. And it was a video that I watched that had all the horrible calls that he made during the game. Then at the end, it had his advertisement for his roofing company, and it had his information. And then just a screenshot of that picture of the information came out. I took that and posted it on Facebook, but then shortly found out that all this stuff about death threats were coming out, so I took it down. I felt bad at that time.
Yeah, that was it was ridiculous, but So Higgins, do you think he'll coach, or do you think he will referee any more Kentucky games?
Yeah, if it's a big game, he's going to be there and it's probably going to be even worse now that all this stuff's happened. His officiating is probably going to be even worse, but hopefully it doesn't cost us any more games.
Okay, so we got to talk about the Final Four. I know we just spoke about the obvious. North Carolina is the champions, but let's preview the Final Four. South Carolina versus Gonzaga. Now, it was interesting. The Final Four got good ratings. I didn't necessarily think that it would because of the teams that was in it, but hey, I think that when it gets down to the Final Four, it's really not about fan bases watching their team. It's that, plus it's just the college basketball fans watching. So the ratings was good. What do you think the most interesting thing of that game was?
Which one?
South Carolina and Gonzaga.
I don't know if there was in it much or anything really interesting. It was a good game though. It was close throughout. Actually, Gonzaga got it pretty big, but then South Carolina got on went on a 14-0 run towards the end of the second half, and you thought that their Cinderella story was going to continue, and I think Gonzaga just had a little bit more of a. I think it was more their. Let's say. I'm trying to think of the word. They were more.
Their seasoned.
More seasoned, yeah.
Yeah, they were.
It's been a long time since South Carolina had been this far, so I think it was a little bit more that helped Gonzaga beat them.
And then, Frank Martin gave a very emotional post-game press conference. He cried.
I did see
You don't
that.
see that all the time from, Scary Frank, which is a very scary man. That's like you crying, Zach. I don't think. No. You wouldn't look like a scary man on the sideline. But you don't see grown men cry a lot, and especially guys like
Well, I'd
Frank
say
Martin.
that was an emotional roller coaster for him. I mean, if your team's winning games that you weren't expecting to win, that's got to be – you got to get pretty close to those guys. And after they got the trip to the Final Four, you saw his players hugging him and stuff. He's obviously a bit of a player's coach, and it'd probably always be a real special group to him, so I can understand why he would be emotional about it, and I think that's warranted.
And he said the most emotional thing about it is that the fact that you won't coach those players anymore. Some of those players, it was their last game, so it was the last game he was ever going to coach them.
Well, if Cal cried for that reason, he'd never stop. He'd always have the waterworks going, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
He would.
That's a good point.
He really would. Oregon, UNC, that was a good game. Oregon lost by 1 point. Oregon, that's another team that I thought was going to go out pretty early, and they kept surprising me.
Yeah, I think we all assumed Oregon was going to go out pretty early. They had their second leading scorer out the whole tournament, and they really proved us wrong, and then it come down to one possession, or I guess it come down to free throws, or actually rebounding that it came down to from keeping them from going to the championship game.
Isn't it interesting how fundamentals of basketball, like, it always comes down to rebounding and free throws at the end of the day? Like, if you don't make your free throws and you don't rebound, are you going to win a championship? Are you going to – that's what it comes down to.
Rebounding is so unspectacular. But you got to think, you can talk about playing defense all you want to, but if you get a rebound, that's a shot that the other team's never going to get. Period. They've already missed that shot. I think somebody, I forget who it was, but there's famous quotes that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Uh-huh.
If you get a rebound, you've held your opponent to 0%.
I believe the good old John Calipari said that a few times too. But
I don't know who it was originally though.
No, but I've heard him say it quite a few times.
I said that we would know Oregon's head coach's name after the Final Four, so I'm going to test you all. Do you know his name?
Dana Altman.
Yep.
Okay, so I have to ask, Dana Altman, Frank Martin, Mark Few, are these guys going to be looked at as possibly going to another school? I mean, look, they just made it to the Final Four. That speaks volumes to a lot of athletic directors. Are they going to leave their prospective programs and go to, let's say, I don't know, there's no school open up, but does that put their name in the hat for a school like UNC when Roy Williams retires? He's 66. It could happen.
I don't know about UNC specifically. Mark Few's had plenty of opportunities to leave over the years, and he just likes it there in Gonzaga. And I feel like he's probably got a chip on his shoulder at this point to get him that far and not get the championship.
Right.
They're in a weak conference. They're going to have a chance to go to the tournament every year. So I don't see Mark Few going anywhere. As for Altman and Frank Martin, I don't know. Altman's been around for a long time already. Just depends on how well those guys like it at those particular schools. It puts them, to answer your question, it puts them on the radar, but I don't know if you'll actually see them move or not.
Yeah, I agree with Zach. I don't really see any of them going anywhere. I mean, It looks like Altman. I'm not sure his age, but I don't know how many years he's got left. He looks
probably pushing 60.
Yeah, but I mean, Oregon's not a bad school to be at. I mean, they're not necessarily a basketball school, but in the past couple of years they have been. And they're one of the top teams in the Pac-12, and that's not a bad conference.
Yeah.
And then Gonzaga, I don't know, man. I would really like to see Gonzaga move to the maybe the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Or I guess it would be something different then, but. Yeah, because they get so much crap for being out at the West Coast Conference. It's an awful conference. But as far as Frank Martin goes, he's been fired from Kansas State. I don't know how you get fired from Kansas State.
He didn't get fired from Kansas State. He left Kansas State
He left?
Yeah. He was doing fine at Kansas State.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and then left for South Carolina. So, I mean, it would have to be a good school to open up for him to leave South Carolina. I mean, he just went to a Final Four. Why leave right now?
I guess with the Frank Martin situation, that one probably comes down to money more than anything. Is South Carolina going to pay what it takes to maintain a Final Four basketball program? Are people going to go to games? Is there going to be more excitement about basketball in Columbia, than there was previously? Because if they're not selling tickets because of what they did this year, then they're not going to be able to pay him the money to keep him around, and he will probably go somewhere else.
So it came down to Gonzaga, UNC, and of course, that game I thought it was a good game. Most people I talked to said that they didn't enjoy it, but I thought it was a good game. I thought that it was pretty close. I thought that Gonzaga kept up with UNC. UNC kept up with Gonzaga, but UNC, they were going to be the team to ultimately win. And as much as it pains me to say, they are the 2017 national champions.
Yeah, as we talked about that earlier, like we said, it was an awful game. Neither of the teams shot over 37%. North Carolina actually shot 36, and then Gonzaga shot 34. Try to look at the free throws here. I mean, they only shot 26 free throws apiece, so the fouls were even. But I just feel like there was way too many fouls.
How many fouls was there total?
There were total fouls. Let's see here. I just know in the second half, both of those teams got in the bonus like 13 minutes to go.
Yeah, and it's
22 fouls apiece. So
44 fouls total in a 40-minute game. You were talking about the NBA earlier, and I heard them mention that on a different competitor's show earlier. They were talking about the NBA versus college.
Was this a podcast or was this a radio show?
This was a locally carried radio show.
Okay.
Like to mention that on the show.
Yeah,
it's got initials, but I can't remember what they are.
Well, we'll leave it away.
It's kind of a
ABC,
something like that. Something like that. K something or other.
Okay.
Okay. So the last NBA Finals Game 7 last year, you had Warriors Cavs. If y'all remember that, I think there was like 3 or 4 minutes down the stretch where neither team scored. It was just hanging there, and I think there's only one more basket scored, and it was a defensive battle back and forth. I don't think shooting percentages affect the watchability of a game, but there were, if I remember correctly, there weren't any fouls called down that. It was just back and forth, teams up and down the court, and that's what's exciting. When 44 seconds, I mean, that's like one trip up and down, and then it stops.
Right.
Like that's. The athleticism of running full court is one of the things that makes basketball exciting. And I'm getting back on the refs again, Adam, and you're just going to have to go on to the next topic because I could talk about that all day.
Well, it puts a big ribbon on college basketball season. One Shining Moment was played. Has anybody ever watched the One Shining Moment video all the way through?
I've never watched a single second of One Shining Moment.
Not even when Kentucky won?
No.
I guess, well, really, I didn't win it. I didn't watch it when they won because I was too busy jumping up and down, but I watch a lot of YouTube, so.
Yeah, they're all on YouTube, and they're all good videos to watch, but when a team like North Carolina or Duke wins or Louisville, I don't watch it.
You just turn the TV
Like
off.
last year, I'm pretty sure I watched the Nova one, and definitely in 2012 when Kentucky won, but I just turned the TV off when these other teams win, so I don't really care. I went to bed right after the game was over. I cried a little bit, and was hoping I woke up and North Carolina wasn't the champions, but that's not the case. Unfortunately, could have been us. Just think how close that could have been for us.
Could have been us. Kentucky, I feel like will be okay. They'll come back. Cal will reload. Bunch of players leaving. De'Aaron Fox.
We were number one in ESPN's way too early poll for 2017-2018. Number one.
However, in Joe Lunardi's bracket already for next season, he has us as a 2 seed, not a 1 seed. So
he's got a bracket for next year.
Got a bracket for next year, and we're a 2 seed.
Wow. Wouldn't he be on wouldn't this be a vacation time for him? Would it be like the perfect time?
It would be perfect. Yeah. Why is he still
the last one day after the college basketball's over, he's already getting back to work.
It's just so amazing how he ended up with that job. Like, what makes him the know-all be-all of brackets and seating and stuff? I don't understand it.
I'd like to have that job.
I mean, yeah, who
Pretty
would?
sweet. I mean, like who's ever gonna say that you're? It's not like people go back and check Joe Lunardi's bracket like 3 years ago and see how he did. I mean, they say it at the time, but then it's forgot. People have about the memory that they do with like the weatherman.
Right.
The crazy thing is how close he is every year, though.
Yeah, and he's articulate with his explanations, and I think people like to listen to him. He's entertaining during March Madness, so he explains a lot, gives people advice. So he gives kind of a starting point for people to start picking their teams.
I don't know, man. You're talking about gambling. He almost strikes me as like an insider.
Right.
Maybe it's the Italian last name, and I'm just stereotyping here, but I can see Joe Lunardi being like the go-between.
In post-college basketball, right? In post-college basketball, really the only thing that happens now is the NBA draft. So we got De'Aaron Fox from Kentucky.
Baseball.
Yeah, baseball, of course. We got baseball.
Got a red shirt on. And a red hat.
Yeah, I like the Reds, but they lost. They suck again. We suck again. They lost the opening game.
They're rebuilding. They'll be fine in a couple of years. I think they'll be all right. But yeah, it's kind of rough, man. But I'm a loyal Reds fan. I hang with them no matter what.
You do. Did it make you mad when I said they suck just now?
A little bit.
A little bit, like it stung just a little bit.
Well, man, I can say they suck too, but I'm still a fan of them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can say your team sucks. They could get better.
I mean, it's true.
They're rebuilding. They don't suck. They're just rebuilding.
The Reds have been rebuilding for a long, long time, and they've made some
like 3 seasons.
Silly decisions.
Yeah, I think it's about the third season they've been rebuilding.
Yeah, but baseball really don't. I like going to baseball games because it's just fun, just to go to a baseball game. But it really gets fun during World Series. That's when it gets really fun, as long as the Cubs don't win. But you got baseball season, the NBA. De'Aaron Fox from Kentucky is going to go. He declared. Malik Monk. Bam Adebayo's going. Might come back. Don't know.
Got 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah, 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
What about Briscoe? You think Briscoe's going?
Briscoe is not going to go. He might try to go to these combines and see how he can do in the second round, but I see him either coming back to Kentucky for a junior season, try to improve his stock, or he's going to go overseas and play. I don't know how much money you get, but you don't make no money in the D League. I guess that's just your best spot to go if you're trying to make it in the NBA is the D League. But I see his destiny being overseas.
Yeah, I can see that. And if he was a 4-year player, he could play. He could maybe make an NBA team, but that's if. That's a big if he comes back. If he does come back, Briscoe and Adebayo, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I think as far as Briscoe coming back goes, at least like you can't work on athleticism. Like you really have a ceiling with athleticism. What he needs is just better basketball IQ and a better shot. And I feel like those are easier things to work on and develop than he's just too weak, or man, nobody's saying he's too weak. Look at the guy.
Yeah, he's definitely not weak. Yes.
No, he's not too slow. Like, you can't get faster really, not much.
Yeah.
So at least the things that he could work on are things that he could conceivably develop if he stayed at UK.
Do you see Derek Willis or Dominique Hawkins having a career?
I think Hawkins is probably a foreign player if he wants to. I think he'd be a good fit.
Derek
somewhere where maybe just people were a little bit smaller than the NBA. Yeah, I can see Willis having maybe a 2 or 3 season career.
Yeah, I agree.
In the NBA.
Yeah,
because you really saw it in the last part of the season. He developed a little bit of rebounding, a little bit of shot blocking, not just shooting.
Yeah, and he played in that Reese's invitation.
He's the MVP of that.
Yeah, the MVP, and then Hawkins made the All-SEC team, didn't he? Something like that.
All-SEC tournament.
All-SEC team.
He was MVP of the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
No, he should. I think he should have been, but he.
Do you have to be seniors to get those honors?
No, no. Maybe for that All-Star game that he was in, maybe the Reese's All-Star game. Maybe that's for seniors, but.
I wonder how hard they would be to get on the show. Hawkins, Mulder, all those guys to get on off the cuff. I mean, because now you don't have to go through any media. It depends on how cool they are.
Right.
So I can reach out and see.
Yeah, I think you should do either one of that. I mean, probably either Willis or Hawkins. Mulder either. I mean, but it's different because they're from here. They're from here. They're Kentucky boys. So, but any of them that'd be awesome to have on the show.
Yeah, it really would be. But so other than the NBA, coaching changes, of course, will occur over the next couple months. I don't think there was any more coaching changes from the last time we spoke. Patrick Ewing became the head coach of Georgetown.
Yeah.
That was. What do you think of that?
You want to take a shot at that first, Tom?
Well, I mean, they got to. I don't know if it's a great hire because he doesn't really have a track record. But whenever I watch Georgetown, it's like I'm supposed to be excited about Georgetown basketball, but there's not really anything exciting about Georgetown basketball. They have a ton of empty seats in their arena. It's like they used to be great, but who cares now? So I think that'll get people excited again about it, and I think he'll have an easy time recruiting.
Yeah,
at first at least.
Yeah, that's what they were going for. Yeah, I think that is exciting to have Patrick Ewing there. He's a legend at Georgetown. That's where he played. But like you said, his experience as a coach is lacking. He was an assistant coach under who? Was he an assistant in the NBA even?
Yeah, I think he was an assistant in the NBA. I'd put it this way. The most important decision that he'll have to make is who he's hiring as his assistants. Mm-hmm. And if he can get people that can cover for his lack of experience, if it's in play calling or whatever he doesn't feel comfortable doing, and he'll let them handle that, then I think it can be successful. But if he tries to be a control freak with no experience, I don't see that working out well for him.
Yeah, I'll go for what you said. Definitely on the what's so funny?
You took your hat off, man. You had some hat hair.
Yeah, I've been wearing a hat all day.
I'll take that back. There is somebody that's passionate about Georgetown basketball.
Yeah, he had to take his hat off and swoosh his hair back.
I think on the recruiting aspect, he should be able to bring the players in. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But just because he was a good basketball player doesn't mean he's going to necessarily be a good coach. And if that doesn't work out for Georgetown, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean,
right. I mean, think of a legend coach and a legend basketball player. I mean, Pat Riley maybe. No, he's not really a legend basketball player though.
Well,
yeah, I don't really.
He was back in the day, but it's been a long time since Pat Riley put the old Chuck Taylors on.
So it's hard. So it's hard to think of a good coach and a good player.
How long was John Thompson there? He was there for a while.
For years.
And they used to not be that bad. I don't know what happened when they were.
John Thompson 1 or 2?
Third.
The third.
Well, 1 and 2.
How many have they had?
They've had 3.
No, they haven't had all 3. They had John Thompson. Did they have all 3?
I think they had all 3. It was like a royal family there. It was like when one died, the other one would take the throne.
Well, I mean, they used to be decent. I mean, a couple years ago they were 2 seed. I think they got beat in the first round, but now the past couple years they just completely fallen off.
I actually watched a lot of Georgetown this year. For some reason, they were on TV every time I was like, let me turn college basketball.
Top 25 college basketball program. Top 25 college basketball program.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And so I think that let's give them a chance. I think it was a good move for the hiring or for getting attention for the program. But I wonder if he does bad at Georgetown, if that will tarnish his legacy as a player. Do you think that would hurt him any?
As a player?
Yeah, do you think that his legacy would be like...
No, because people will still look back and they'll say, oh, there's Patrick Ewing, a Hall of Fame player. Because and it'll just kind of like, if you click on his Wikipedia page and read, then you'd be like, oh, wow, he was terrible at Georgetown as a coach, but it's not going to be the headline.
Yeah, but how bad would that have to be to go in and fire Patrick Ewing? That's like hiring Anthony Davis as our coach, and he won us a championship, and then we go in like after 2 years and have to fire him. And it's just it's the walk of shame, having to walk out with your box of stuff. So it's going to be interesting if he does bad to see what happens, if he just kind of steps down gracefully or if they give him the nasty firing.
Because time will tell.
Yeah, only time will tell. Well, anything to add before we close out with the one shining moment here and put a wrap on our March Madness podcast?
I know that before we know, we'll be back again next year doing these podcasts. But hopefully next year will end up being a little bit better than the outcome of this year with North Carolina winning it. Man, we're due for one, definitely.
Absolutely.
Adam, what's it been? 3.
Third year. Third year.
It's been 3 years of tears. We've had happy moments. We've had sad. And that's just another chapter in the off the cuff March Madness specials. I'm happy to be here once again. I hope you'll have us back next year, and we'll break down the games just like only professionals can do, right?
Right. And like I said, this is my favorite series to do of the podcast. You say it's 3. I think this is 4 because this is the 4th season. Fourth
season, third year. Yeah. So 14, 15, 16, 17. But in 14, we only did a couple Oh, then we did the.
We haven't, I think, but we still got to count it because the series evolved. That's what you call
Right.
it, evolvement.
Yeah.
Like, we started out very, very, like, unorganized with the series. Like, it started out just doing it in your little office of doing, like, just a random show of a first-round
And we
game.
also had one of our best shows, if
that-
you can remember.
That wasn't
Downtown
off
at-
the cuff episode 1 though, was it?
No, that wasn't
It was a
episode
few-
1, but it was like
or-
episode 6.
Yeah,
It was
up
early beginnings of Off the Cuff. And then one of our best, like you said, was the downtown Yukon Kentucky
That
championship
was
game.
great. And it was only like a 7-minute podcast, but looking back, that was awesome, man. Because like you said, it was a championship game. We were all going crazy. The atmosphere down there was awesome. That was a good one. I like that. That was fun.
I like how we can document these two. You know, you can always go back and you know, you're going to be able to show Cannon, your child. Chad. Oh, by the way, Chad's going to be a father.
Yeah, I got.
Congratulations.
What is this month? But August or April? 5 more months. 4
Yeah.
more months.
Well, so what you're saying, Adam, is that you and I will be doing the post-championship game show next year.
No,
Maybe
hopefully-
Chad will be a caller.
No, hopefully this isn't my last show on here. Yeah, maybe next year I'll have to be a caller.
Oh,
You have to Skype me in.
Skype him in,
While I'm rocking the baby.
We'll have to
to
hang up
sleep.
on you because they're crying babies in the background. Be like, sorry, folks, got a little bit of.
No, I'll
connection
try my
problems
best to
there
be
with
here.
But no, I like it that we can document these and we can always look back on them and listen to our picks and how we were and what all we had to say and what all was going on during this time. It's always just kind of like a little journal. It's an audio journal that we'll always have. But guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun. Another series of March Madness Off the Cuff episodes has been complete. This has been Adam Banks, Zack Hahn, Chad Rainwater with Off the Cuff, and we will see you guys next year for the March Madness series. But we'll see you in the next episode of Off the Cuff.